Hey, what's going on, fight fans? Hey, this is Coach C, the Wyld man. You know what time it is. It's in the name. This is the Wow Hour with Coach D and my road dog, Chad, the mother effing Burns. Look, we catch it up in a big way. Things have turned around almost a 360. Where at one podcast we was like, man, we gonna see this kind of basic card over there at Bare Knuckle and Myrtle Beach. Maybe we should go, maybe we should not go. Then in a matter of 24 hours, bing, bang, boom, Andy Hall don't pull something out his drawers. And now we got Keith Richardson versus Justin Scoggins, bare knuckle of all doubts. If there's one thing I thought I would never see, it's either one of them in a bare knuckle fight. But it looks like in 2023, miracles are happening. What do you think on that, Chad?
That was there's been a lot of changes happen just in the last 24 to 48 hours. We talked a lot about this yesterday afternoon and almost went live about it. This changes everything. This went from an MMA argument of striker almost against grappler, Justin with the distancing and the striking ability, Keith Richardson with the wrestling and jiu-jitsu and just grunt willing to grind it out, to who knows how this is going to go. Is Justin still going to have the elite distancing and head movement? Is Richardson's aggressiveness going to come into play and he's going to try to stay in the pocket and bully Justin? Like, this is a whole different talk. You might as well have said, hey, they're playing soccer tomorrow. Who do you think is going to win?
Mm-hmm. And it's like you said, you are correct. Everything goes out the window with bare knuckle. It's because everything you think you can take and deal with is a complete different thing. One shot, you can get cut. One shot can close your eye up. One shot can change your whole game plan of what you thought you was going to do. Now you ask the question, who's going to get off first? Who got better footwork? Who quicker? And who's tougher? So it just changed the whole dynamic. So I'm going to ask you, I think you talked about it, but I'm going to go ahead and say it first because F you. Who you think going to
win? You got me. That was even. When we had this conversation and I interviewed Keith Richardson a couple of years ago, I was kind of up in arms. I was like, Keith's aggressive. He's got the skill set. He's got a ton of fights behind him. But I feel like Justin's stand-up gives anybody a problem except for the elite level, the top of the heap. Now, in saying that, it's because I was basing all that off of Justin's distancing, his side kicks that he almost uses as a jab, all his long-range kicks, and his aggressiveness and ability to keep the distance. Now, all that goes out the window, and I go, okay, is his head movement and hand speed enough to keep Richardson from just running over him or bullying him in the pocket? And I still think it stands to say that I think his head movement and his hands and the way his footwork is perfect for distance work. I still think Justin could get the nod in this.
Okay. And I was really thinking about it and going, okay, who's more prepared for bare knuckle, right? I've had the fortunate, opportunities to go hang out with Keith Richardson at his gym and watch what he's doing and preparing, Taylor Starling's for bare knuckle. He's done tons of boxing, tons of preparation, and seeing him fight at XMMA, his footwork is way better than I thought. I thought he was a flat-footed, come at you, look for the shoot, look for the takedown, clinch up against the cage type of brawling type of fighter with great wrestling because he comes from a wrestling background. But that's nothing what I've seen since I've been watching him fight at XMMA. He stays on his feet, got great footwork. He's a lot quicker on his feet than I once gave him credit for. He has a pretty good duck under into a straight shot. So things I thought I wasn't going to see, I've seen. So this is becoming a lot more interesting than I think a lot of fans. Of course, fans are going to take sides. You're going to have the Keith Richardson fans versus Justin Scoggins fans. It is what it is. But I think we're going to see a way better fight with the amount of skill they're going to bring to the table than I once first thought.
Well, that's a big question there. You know, Keith has been preparing Taylor for bare knuckle for a while now. So he's used to the mitt work. He's used to the speed. He's used to the in tight clinch work. My question, really, the only thing that's kind of keeping me on the fence is how long has Justin known about this fight? How long has he been preparing for, okay, gloves come off, and now I can't use any of my kicks, any of my knees, any of my wrestling? Was this a short-term decision for Justin? Because if all that stuff comes into play and you tell me that, I go, oh, wait a minute. I might want to go the other direction. Like, because Keith ain't off the couch.
Yeah.
Keith is always ready to bang. And I think he's been preparing so much with Taylor. It's almost like he's been just training for this now for over a year. So that might change the game a lot.
Well, and with that being said, Keith just came off a boxing match, which he won at Global Legion. Not this card, but the card before that, where both him and Taylor both won their boxing debuts at Global. So I will give that side of it, that him being more prepared. And Justin just got dropped from a card, not dropped, but card got, his opponent fell out and he just lost yet another match he was trying to get into. So he was preparing for a MMA match before this. So I'm willing to bet that he wasn't preparing for a bare knuckle match when he was already preparing for an MMA match. You see what I'm saying? So
sure, Justin's had an issue keeping fights together for years now. I mean, ever since he was an amateur, like trying to get people to fight him, and it's just been a nightmare for him. So yeah, that's a good point. Was he looking for this MMA fight, that MMA fight, and this kind of dropped in his lap, and he said, "Yeah, I'll take it." Mm-hmm. I don't know. I haven't spoke to him personally now in a while. We had small messages back and forth over Instagram, but I haven't talked to him.
Yeah.
I would like to get him on just to cure my curiosity probably in the next couple of days and say, hey, you ain't got to tell everybody else, but I need to know. Yeah. I need to know the inside scoop. Am I about to look stupid here because I'm sitting here saying, hey, you might have the natural ability just to win at this, and you ain't even been training for it? So I don't know. I need to know that.
Well, the biggest X factor on both sides is that they're veterans. If either one of them has the ability to adapt, to say that they don't have the experience to go, I know what I'm looking at when it's thrown my way, would be, we would be wrong to say that. They know what's coming, right? And you don't have to worry about takedowns. You don't have to worry about leg kicks. You don't have to worry about knees. All you have to worry about hands. So equally, they probably going to know what's coming. The fact of the matter is who's going to be quicker and who's going to get off first. That's probably what's going to come down to. And when they connect with knuckle on bone and flesh is a little bit different than the 4-ounce or 10-ounce or 16-ounce gloves. That's what I'm looking to see. Once somebody get hits, what happens next?
Sure. And like I said, I don't think, let's get real. This is Scoggins we're talking about. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be one of those of, oh gosh, he's not really sure what he's getting into. He knew what he was doing when he signed the dotted line.
Yeah.
And I think he would be the first one to kind of grin and laugh at you and be like, hey, I'm ready for this. I'm good. Like, it's not like he's going into something he hadn't prepared his whole life for.
Yeah.
So I still feel like this is that barn burner fight that we've all been dying to see from these two guys for years. The excitement just went up a notch for me, though. Like, realizing now of, okay, this ain't one of those things of where they can kind of neutralize each other by wrestling through half the fight, or it becomes a jiu-jitsu match, or they kind of keep stalemating up against the cage. nah, this is a bare knuckle fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is one of those like Max Holloway type fights. So we're going to stand right here in the middle and bang.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for this. I think I couldn't be much more excited for anything else. Like, I am really, really excited that Andy got this made.
Now, now that you say it, I'm kind of thinking this may have been a last minute matchup because we're only a couple of weeks out from this happening. So how much time you have for? You only have like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks of build up, of hype. Now luckily they have great name recognition and they are veterans, so people are gonna know who they're looking at. But there's no buildup, right? So now it falls on media and podcasters like ourselves to do all the buildup. Yes, you posted it, but you still want to have conversation. You still want to have backstory because they have backstory. This is the fight has been trying to be made for years. For years. I would even want to say almost close to a decade of this fight trying to get made from Andy Hall on more than one occasion. From Warfare, most recently XMMA, and now we come all the way to bare knuckle for this to get done. So that's a story in the making. That why wouldn't you spend time to roll that story out? Now the great thing is that you have guys like us who have that history of knowledge to talk about it and walk the fans through it and go, this is why this fight is happening and this is why this fight is so important. We can say it because we've been around since almost the beginning of this stuff coming together. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. This is, I mean, anybody that doesn't know the Keith Richardson and Justin Scoggins, I can't. There's no way we got enough time for me to sit here and explain to you what this match means or why you should be excited about this fight. But as far as I'm concerned, everybody in the Southeast that's tuning in and everybody that's from the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia area knows how important this fight is, knows how hyped this fight is.
Mm.
Literally, what I said yesterday, somebody said, well, who's the main event? I said, this one. Well, who's the co-main? This one. like this, it was one of those. I'd seen most of the card, or as far as I'd seen most of the card they'd rolled out,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh man, I'd even talked to you about it. I'm like, I don't know. I felt like they're trying to put too much just strictly Myrtle Beach on there, and they're kind of holding off on major talent. Or I was like, I don't know. I'm not hyped for this card. I haven't seen anything that's got me hyped for this card. As soon as this one come out, I think me and you seen the poster like 30 seconds apart.
Mm.
I was already on 3 social media sites sharing it, and you were already commenting on it, and I was hyped. I was like, okay, this is the one. This is the one that's going to make me excited when I drive all the way down there. Like, this is the one that's going to have me excited, and this is the one that's going to have the whole crowd amped. I mean, can you imagine the Modern Warrior crew cheering on Keith, and then all the Scoggins crew cheering on Scoggins? That's going to be deafening and not a fight that I would want to back up.
This is literally still the show all over it. Like, I don't know what they were looking for behind the scenes as, okay, this is the main event because of this. These guys are going to do this, that, and the other. Once these two start to do the walkout, all that shit's going out the window, right? It's going to be, they will have to step their game up. Whatever game plan they have, they will have to change it to match the energy that Keith Richardson and Justin's going to bring when they walk out and they both step in that cage together for the first time. It's going to, like you said before, it's going to be deafening, and business is business. If you want to make a name, you got to bring something a little bit higher than what happened before, and I don't know if they can do it. So that main event maybe be the snap, maybe the snap again. Who was the main event? I can't. Let me think. Hold on.
But I've been like that ever since we started talking about this fight. it was, well, who was the main event again? Who are they bringing in for that? Like, it's almost like, Bo, save y'all's money. This is the main event. You might as well cancel the other one. This is the one that's got everybody hyped to watch it. You know, this is the fight right here.
And this brings up a particular story about Nate Diaz when he fought Leon Edwards, right? And Leon Edwards was beating the brakes off Nate pretty much for all 4 rounds, right? Then Nate did that Stockton slap, with the right, and it came across with the left and wobbled Leon Edwards to where we thought he was going to finish Leon.
Yeah.
That was even though Leon won, that wasn't the conversation. It was, did you see what Nate did in the 5th round and how he rocked Leon and all the hype and all the energy that Leon needed for beating Nate was gone. It was all about Nate, even though Nate lost. That's what the main event may run across if Keith and Justin do what we know they're going to do. So how are they going to go?
Well,
how great was the main event when you got Keith Richardson and Justin competing?
all right. Again, when I said I would never want to back this fight up, how are you going to back it up if this goes 3 rounds and has a couple knockdowns back and forth? Or I'm just like, ooh, like, how are you going to back that up? Think of it this way. And do I really think it's going to go this way? No way in hell. But Justin comes out and knocks Keith down in the 1st. Keith comes back, knocks him down in the 2nd. And the 3rd round, they're still willing to really bang it out. How are you going to back that up? Like, I'm just, if one comes out and just smokes the other one in the 1st round and it's over, can you imagine the hype train?
Yeah.
If Keith knocks out Justin in the 1st, or if Justin knocks Keith out in the 1st, can you imagine the hype? You couldn't shut the crowd down. They'll have to put an intermission in. You would not be able to calm the crowd down. Like, it's gonna be fireworks regardless, but you would not be able to calm the crowd down enough to even pay attention to, hey, wait, we got other fights. Everybody's gonna be like, who cares? Like, did you just see that shit?
You almost looking at legacy fight. You know what I'm saying? Even though these guys are still in their prime and they still got plenty of fight left, we can almost put legacy fight on this, regardless of how it goes down. But what if it's exactly like you said, to where one knockdown, then another knockdown, and drag out, and it goes the distance? This fight can potentially go down in history because of who they are in the sport, especially on the local scene. You know what I'm saying?
This will be who's the baddest MFer in the Southeast.
Yeah.
In my opinion, regardless of what weight class you want to put them at, like 125, 135, 145 even. In my opinion, this goes down to the baddest little motherfucker in the Southeast. Keith Richardson, everybody knows. Justin Scoggins, everybody knows. But in bare knuckle, you're going to get to actually see how just headstrong both of them are and how willing to engage both of them are willing to. And, Bo, I expect this one to steal the show. There's just no question about it. I've been absolutely excited ever since the poster come out. And it can't get here quick enough. Where before I was like, a couple weeks away. So what?
And here's the difference between love and respect of the art and who your opponent is and shit talking. Now, if I was Keith, I'd be, look, mother effer, you left. This is my backyard. I don't know what the hell you think this is. You visiting. You don't live here. I'd be like, you visiting. I'll open the door for you to visit me in my backyard so I can whoop your ass and send you back to wherever the hell you live at. But you don't live in it. It's mine. So I'm going to take
You talking Atlanta talk now.
Yeah.
That's what you'll hear from NFC. No, when I talked to Keith before, when they was supposed to fight before. I mean, it was nothing but respect. It
Yeah,
was
of
nothing
course.
but, he's going to come in and do what he does. I think I've got the best game plan for it. I'm going to do what I do. And he basically said, we're not coming in there to bump our gums. We're coming to fight.
Hmm.
This is two guys that we've came to fight.
Yeah.
We're not here to showboat or to put on some media parade. We're here to do our job, and we're really good at it. I
Yeah.
mean, he was all business.
Yeah, and naturally, I'm having fun with it because it's us, and it's that type of fight. You know what I'm saying? The
Sure.
energy, the energy for you to remain like it's just another fight. That means you ain't part of this life, right? If you're not hyped up, and if you're not like thinking in your head how many ways this fight can go down, what do you think's going to be happening? What would an upset look like? Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to be the bigger star? How big can this be? There's so many ways you can think this in your head. If you're not thinking that, then you're not part of the culture. You're not part of the sport. You can't help but think it. As old as our ass is, well, I'm older. As old as my ass is, I should be like
Ha.
ready to take a nap. But I'm excited like a school kid, man. I'm excited. I really am. I really am.
Yeah, like I said, I couldn't say it any more clear than what I said. Was I happy to come down and watch bare knuckle and this, that, and other, and possibly be cage side, media side? Of course, who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
But when this got announced, all of a sudden I got hyped. I
Hmm.
was like, "You don't realize what this means. Like this is the perfect world of we're almost going to kill both of them's assets and make them just dogfight it out." Like, I mean, this is great because I didn't want to see them wrestling. I didn't want to see them play the range game. I wanted to see them fight,
Yeah.
and that's what we're going to get to do.
And this goes to the primal side of us all, whether we want to admit it or not. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just want to see a scrap. Do I know the pedigree of Keith Richardson when it comes to grappling? Yes. Do I know the pedigree of Justin Scoggins when it comes to kickboxing? Yeah. But to stand a mano and see who got the better hands, there's something about that that make you go, shit. Yeah, I might need to see this.
The only thing that I think me any more excited is if they back this up by fighting that bare knuckle MMA.
You know what? This could be the start of a trilogy. And why not? Why the F not? Okay, y'all. I don't say this much.
There, that's the call.
Hold it. I don't say this much because A, I don't like Chad. B, he ain't shit. And C, fuck him. But what he just said makes a whole lot of mother effing sense. To run it back in each of their wheelhouses is fucking exciting. Fucking Justin. Daggone Chad, you don't said something. You don't. I ain't gonna never say you worth a shit again, but today you worth a shit. That was some heavy talk right there.
All I'm saying is, it's hard to get me excited for a fight.
Hmm.
It really is. After all these years, it is really, really harder to get me excited to watch a fight, and especially to drive anywhere to see a fight. But this one got me excited. The
Hmm.
only thing that I could think to top this would be, okay, we're fighting bare knuckle MMA the next one, in 6 months or whatever, you know, and Bo, that would I'd drive to Tampa to see that one.
Yeah. I mean, they are. I mean, you know us. We don't try to mix words. I know I don't, but you have to be honest. They are carrying this card. They have put the spike in this card. If there weren't no spike there before, there is now. There is mother effing now. They going to bring all eyeballs to bare knuckle fighting championship in Myrtle Beach for the Southeast. They simply just are. Anybody who's not watching they hate these mother effers. You know what I'm saying? If they're fans, they're watching. If they're fans, they're showing up. They either bought a ticket or they bought pay per view. They're watching. They're watching. So I can guarantee kudos to the guys. Kudos to Andy Hall. Kudos to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. Kudos to David Feldman, Nate Shook, all the guys that made this happen, because this is something to see. There ain't no need for me to act like it's not. It is. This is high level shit right here that we'll be just as excited to see it if it was the UFC. We'll be just excited to see it if it's PFL, Bellator, or One or Risen. We'll be happy just to see it in any one of those promotions. That's how big this is, especially in the Southeast. So, kudos, guys. Good job.
Speaking of all that, I'm not going to touch on any of it because we could go off on a tangent. I'm going to hold it all for live Sunday. But I'm excited to talk about a bunch of different things. I've got a list. But I'm sure we will be back on this subject as well. And where are our press passes at? That's all I need to know. Where are our press passes?
Hey, Bare Knuckle and Andy Hall, I'm waiting on my response. Hey, I put my word. Hey, I'm gonna send you the link, Chad, too, so you can do you can put it in as well. That way, one of us goddamn better get it. But yeah, the press passes better be showing up by carrier pigeon. God dang it! Because you know
I'm gonna need something, or I'm gonna start shitting all over this card. Like, if I don't get my press passes within the next 2 weeks. Bo, Nate, Andy, all y'all gonna be mad because I'm gonna start tagging everybody. I will shit all over this card, erase this podcast, and start telling everybody how it's dog shit. You better get my passes, son.
Yo, I will change this name to the shit show. That's what gonna be. We gonna be shitting on a whole bunch of mother effers.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, hey, but let me say, we having fun yet, and Sunday's gonna be even wilder because a lot of stuff has popped off in this past week that yeah, man, very, very interesting at how things can change in a matter of days. You know, what's that old saying, is a difference a day makes. You know what I'm saying? Within 24 hours, things don't change to be something to be very, very interesting. So, hey, we'll see what tomorrow holds. Tomorrow we'll bring some more shit.
Absolutely. Well, I'm ready to close this out. Like I said, that is enough that we could talk for days on that. But I literally want to get some more information and break some more info out there to social media. Hopefully Sunday when we go live.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll have some more information about the card and about this fight specifically.
All right. Well, shit. Well, then bring it home then. Said you ready to get the hell on? Bring it home, Chad.
As always, the Wild Man, Coach D, Chad Burns, we appreciate you tuning in. Give us a follow on Facebook, on Instagram, on our personal pages, as well as our podcast pages. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what fighters you're tuning into, who we might have missed that needs a little bit of shine. We're all about helping the fighters out, and if it's a story that need to be told, we love those. As always, we appreciate you. Coach D, appreciate you.
All right. Well, you heard it. Hey, you know what it is. Like I said before, this is the Wild Hour. We bring it like we bring it, which is wild and uncensored. You know, the hashtag, nothing is off limits. And that's exactly what the hell I mean. Nothing is off limits. So you know what it is. I bring it like I bring it. I talk it like I talk it. I call it like I see it. I talk my share of shit. So this is the Wild Hour. Till you hear from us again, peace out.